Good morning. I am so grateful to be here with all of you to share this insight that I got this last weekend that came through to me, and it was so powerful that I had to share it. And it has to do with exhaustion. And I talked about that the last time in my last live video last week about the elephant and the ways of the elephant. We're going to talk about that a lot, elephant energy coming into this group, because there's so much to learn from the elephant energy. It takes its time, it's majestic, it's powerful, it's strong, and it's really not in a hurry either, is it? But yet its presence, that's what I'm going to talk about. And that is the majority of the people that I've been talking to and the people in this group. We are different. We operate different. And it's not that everyone else is on this different wavelength, although they kind of are. It's more that we're waking up. And when we wake up, we just can't seem to find our place. And it can be really hard. It can be really, really hard because what I'm going to talk about, isn't really out there. There isn't really a role model that's displaying what I'm going to talk about. And it can leave you feeling like the round peg trying to fit into the square hole. In your life, in your job, in your relationships, there's just something off. And it's a rhythm that's off, and it haunts you, and it doesn't leave you until we can figure out what that is. So I want to name that and bring this to light so that we can start to feel like there's a path forward. And so I actually have been sharing this. I shared this with a great friend of mine, and it resonated so deeply with her. And it also with my clients. You know, this comes up a lot with my clients. So there is something to this bold and slow method that I want to share with you. And it has to do with the premise that you are the strategy. You are what is valuable. Your presence is what brings magic to the world. And that's where we've gotten off. That's where we feel offbeat. Because what we've done unknowingly, because this is how we've been conditioned, is to place our value on our accomplishments and what we do outside of us. And if our value is placed on the accomplishments outside of us, what we do, what we've done, who we are in the outside world, what we look like, we're always going to feel like we have to keep finding the next thing. We're always going to feel like we have to figure it out and go out there and try something new and rush. And when we need to actually take care of ourselves, or when we need to slow down, there's this panic that arises, right? There's this worry, this comparison comes in. If I don't do this, I'm going to be left behind. And that is a real fear, because we are wired for connection, and we needed tribal support in the past to survive. We needed our tribe to survive. So belonging is a internal need, and it's linked to a fear. But how we relate to our tribe is completely changing. And that is this, it's like this out of harmony feeling that we're all waking up to, but nobody's talking about it because nobody knows what it is quite yet. And that's why I'm bringing light to this. So what's happening is we're waking up, and we're coming to a place where authenticity is more important. The veneers and the masks that we're wearing to look like we're very accomplished and that's how we get our value, it isn't adding up anymore. And so what we're trying to do is like that authenticity is trying to find its way out. And there's this old way saying, but you're not going to fit in. And if you don't fit in, you're going to be all alone. If you're all alone, eventually you're going to die. And that is really what it is. That's that fear that comes out of our nervous system. And so what's happening is this authenticity that is it's this, it's a presence that's wanting to find its place in your world. And we have to make room for it. And that's where the bold and slow comes in, because your value is intrinsically inside of you. It is your presence that is your contribution, not your accomplishments. It's not to say that going out there in the world and creating things isn't what you're giving that up. That is not it, because we are creators. We're designed to create, but it's the way that we create. It's the presence that we bring to the world. That's it. And that's who you are. If you're watching this, that's who you are. It is your presence that matters. And so what happens is we get sucked in because of our conditioning and how the rest of the world is still operating, which is very, very busy. Go, 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 and keep up with the Joneses. And it's the work environment that doesn't honor rest and recuperation and values. And so many things are off, right? But we're waking up and it's not fitting with us. So the way to help you, this is what I want to talk about, the way to help you through that transition, it is hard. It is hard because it's like, where do I go with this? How do I honor myself when the rest of the world is still operating that way? And the way is to, number one, know that your presence is the contribution. And so how do we unplug from our conditioning, thinking that the outside world and our accomplishments are our value, and turn it towards our presence? That's the bold and slow. And that's what I was going into. So it's the bold and slow. So it's reversed. Everything that you thought, reverse it. That is it. And so when you slow down in your life and you start to connect to that presence within, we have to make space for it, and we have to calm down our nervous system first to access that. But when you connect to that presence, it is bold. It's bold and so quiet at the same time. So this other way that I'm talking about is always going to be like a paradox. That's how you know that you're in the middle, right? It's literally right in the middle. But there's these two elements that kind of like are conflicting in a way. It's confusing. But it's bold and slow, meaning that your presence, by connecting to that, is it. It's connecting to the inner realm, and that is your gift. That's your gift, your inner realm, your energy, your presence. What you've been gifted with resides within you. And when you connect to that energy, it's a very still energy. It's slow. So what I'm saying with the bold and slow method is that is the most important thing that you connect to every day. We've got to reverse how we're looking. We got to look inward instead of outward. And when we connect to that slow stillness within us, and we take action with our choices, it's very bold, meaning there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of presence, there's a lot of you in it. You. Okay, I got kicked off from the internet, so hopefully this will work. If anybody can let me know if you're watching, to just give me a heads up that this is flowing, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I'm just going to jump in. I'm not sure exactly where I left off, but the point is the bold and slow method brings you back to yourself. And so when you connect to that truth, the state of presence and stillness, that's the slow. The stillness is slow, but it's so bold in its potency. It's so bold to connect to your truth. This is your superpower, and there is nothing else that you need to do. This is the foundation of your whole world. It builds off this place of presence and truth, the connection to your soul. This is your gift. And if you are in this group, this is you. And this is why we've been struggling with fitting in and finding our place in the world. Something has always been off, right? Something has always been off. When you get up to start your day, it's like, I'm already in resistance because something feels wrong. Like you can feel it. There's this pull. And so that's what I'm saying, that there is another way. And I want to be that role model. I want to bring this. I want to be a voice for this, because there is another way for us to live. And we have a gift, and specifically the women that are waking up to this, really waking up to their soul, to their truth, and they're not able to go back to their old ways. This is the way forward. And you're in the exact right place that you need to be. And the way forward is to connect to that presence and realize that your value is here. And we connect to that first before we take action. And we bring that presence with in every choice we make. And the way that you know that you're doing that is when you are still on the inside. There's a stillness on the inside. And that is your main default energy, is there's this stillness. And that can seem really hard. And it is a practice and a devotion to get to that place. I always have to be on it. I have to be conscious. I have to set my intentions about connecting to this place of presence so that I can be bold without being bold with strength and force and effort, which drains you. Because if it does not come from a place of truth, your actions do not come from a place of truth, it is going to feel like effort. It is going to feel wrong. It is going to suck the living daily, everything out of you. It's going to suck you dry. And this is where we need support. This is where we need community. This is where we need people that understand this, so that you have somewhere to go to when the rest of the world is questioning you, when they want you to come with, like, come on, no, this is the way we go. We go really quick, and we're frantic, and we're frenzy, and we go, go, go. And our value is all determined on what we do on the outside, and the rest of the world will try to pull you into that. And this is where we need to be very conscious of who we really are and what our gift is. Because when we get pulled out of our presence, we lose our connection. It's there, it never leaves you, but we're not aware of it. We're not in that vibration of steadiness, of stillness, of peace, of love. It's really love, right? It pulls us out of that. And that's where we have to own and know what our gifts are. And that's why I'm telling you, your gift is this. Your gift is you. And that is your value that has never left you. And it's about connecting to that. And that's why I say bold and slow is the new way, because we take action from the inner realms. It's connecting to the subtle energy within you. You create in here first, then you bring that out. You create it inside, like you feel it, and you're making your decisions from this place. And then you express that. It's not a force. It's not even a channel in a way. It has its own direction, but it's an expression that comes from you. And you choose where you're going to direct that. And that is how we work. When you're in that flow and that state of bold and slow, meaning the connection inside, which is so bold and potent with energy. It's the energy that creates worlds like Mother Nature. So we're tapping into life. We're not fighting it with the ego saying it goes this way. And that's what gets us off track is the way that our mind wants to control what it thinks it needs to happen. And that's what gets us into the pace and the frenzy and the mind that never stops. It's when we think we know better, we up here instead of our heart. So it's the surrender of coming into here. And what we need as people like this is a support group to help us maintain that, and someone to talk to as we're going through this transition, because it isn't easy, but it is worth it when you start to get there. This is completely worth it. And we also need to be in our bodies. So these are the three things that I wanted to talk about to give you. Is embodiment is so crucial if you want to bring your gift to the world and live in a place of it's like a symphony playing. Like it's just beautiful music, like you're connected to that way of life. Then we have to be in our body. And we've been taken out of our body because it doesn't feel safe to be in our body. There's so much that we have to heal to be in this state of our gift, like to honor our gift and to make a container for it to thrive. No one else can do it except for you. And so it's healing that and coming back into the body, which means we have to make space for presence to be there. And we have to do that through calming down our nervous system. Because if you notice the frantic frenzy, the energy that takes us out of our body and out of our presence is our nervous system, right? You can feel it, you get activated, and it pulls you out. And so there's needs to be an understanding of how your nervous system works and the survival patterns that come up when you go to a place of truth, because the world has not made it safe for you to be that person. So there is things that we need to work through, but it is possible, because guess what? I'm doing it, right? I'm doing it right now. I've been doing all kinds of training to help all of you understand all of these really major contributions that we need to learn about so that we can be in that state of presence. And we can act from a place of bold and slow, meaning our choices come out and it comes from a place of stillness, and we're not rushed and frantic. Okay? So the nervous system is really key, because when we have an understanding of that, we can slow it down, and then we make room for presence to live, make room for it. And it's like the mind goes into the heart and they start to work together in this beautiful rhythm. And it's possible. And it's your gift. If you're here, this is your gift that is wanting to come through. So those three things: presence is the key. Embodiment, we have to be in our body. The nervous system is a big part of that. And then support. These are the three things that I have found in my journey that I need to continue to be this way. And I continue to need that, and I continue to need to be aware of what my needs are and how to create an environment that I can thrive in. And that means boundaries, that means discernment, and that means a lot of joy and pleasure too. Like, joy and pleasure is welcome on the journey. It's not this serious stuff where you don't have time to play, because play is absolutely where presence comes in as well. So you can have all of that. And yes, it's challenging when you're plugged into an environment that doesn't support it, but it's possible because you choose to bring your presence into that environment. You can bring your presence into work. You can bring it into that relationship. But it takes that, again, that steadiness, that trueness, that devotion, and that knowing of what your truth feels like to begin with, so you know when you've left it. You can do this, and that's why I'm here, to support you, okay? So I hope that this has helped you. I know this is part 2. If you've joined, I got cut off on the internet, so there's a part 1. You might want to go back and watch that, and then you can watch this one. So I'd love to know, I see there's a couple people watching, I think. If you have any comments or questions, just type them in, and I will get back to you. Even if you don't do it right now, I will get back to you as the day goes on. I'm definitely here to support you, and I believe in you. And this group is going to be going through some changes, as I've said. I'm bringing in a new name. I've got all kinds of great new, really valuable content, not just wishy-washy woo-woo out there. This is about like actually changing your life and how to do that. Be spiritual and in your body and a human being. It's all those things. It's really important. We can do it, okay? So sending you so much love. Thank you for tuning in, and I will be in contact with you later, okay? Bye.